Hey all, it is Charlie here, and I'm sitting down with someone for a very exciting chat today. It is Loki from Selve. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so good, Charlie. Thank you so much for having me on. It's great to meet you.
Yes, I'm so excited to chat. But first up, would you like to introduce yourself and introduce your band and what type of music you make?
So my name's Loki. I'm a Jabba Jabba man. I'm obviously from up in Broome, and I live and work down on Coombe country on the Gold Coast. And I'm the lead singer of the Gold Coast alt rock band Selve. What kind of music we make? I think I kind of just said it, didn't I? But it's probably alternative rock. But we really do kind of span across a lot of genre and try to cover the full spectrum of emotion and sound. But it's probably rock. It's probably rock. That's it. But, you know.
There's always like a blanket term that everything falls under.
Exactly.
But I am absolutely obsessed with your latest single, Loki Horror Picture Show. From the
Yes.
title alone, I am a massive, like theater nerd. I literally have musical posters behind my head. So I was
Mhm.
locked in. I was like, I love this title. And the song is a whole other level. There's camp, the aesthetics, the energy. Can you talk us a little bit through Loki Horror Picture Show?
Well, so it's from our album Breaking into Heaven, which we made last year across the three-state residency in Broome, 6 weeks in France, and then we recorded the album in Abbey Road, in London. And then this song kind of came when we were in France. We'd been writing a lot of songs while we were there, and we'd just written a couple, big heavy numbers, kind of, dense with message. And we wanted something very just fun and alleviating and playful. And we just kind of started jamming this one in the studio. We were in a place called Midnight Special Records. And it was fun and silly, and we were just feeling a little bit wacky. And I was just kind of like improvising over the top, and it was very like, like rambling madness. I kind of wanted it to be, I don't know, like the initial name of the song was All Right question mark.
Ooh.
Which was like trying to ride that balance between like delusions of grandeur, but actually some of them coming true. Because
Mm.
we were overwhelmed by the fact that we were going to Abbey Road, which is ridiculous and doesn't really sound real. So I wanted to have this song where I was putting in really silly things like running for president with an army of spaceships and being in Madison Square Garden with a fighter jet, but then also putting in bits of truth, like being at Abbey Road, so that it was like hard to know where to put your finger on. And I'm very eccentric and theatrical and a big fan of Rocky Horror Picture Show myself as well. And it was Brat Summer too, so like the triangle of influences for this is probably Rocky Horror Picture Show, like Brat, and what would be Talking Heads or the Rolling Stones. It was this kind of like energy that we wanted to create there.
Mm.
And at first, when we listened back to it, we're like, is this just silly? And then as we listened more, we're like, no, this is great. We love this. And then so naturally, then there's a line in it that has the Rocky Horror Picture Show in it. And then it
Mhm.
just, Rocky Horror Picture Show, there you go. So that's how we got there. Short answer.
Honestly, I am obsessed. I'm a big fan of camp, of fun, just like having a good time. Sometimes
Mhm.
the world is just a bit too serious and you just need to like stop. You need to put on the headphones and you just need that song. And this has like all the energy to be that song and I love it so much.
And I think that's what I wanted the song to do, is to like give permission for just like full expression in the most silly, maybe even embarrassing, but like joyous kind of way. And we've written a few songs in the album that are pretty punk,
Mm.
but then sometimes in that atmosphere or aesthetic there is a pressure to only be quite serious, but there's something I think quite punk about uninhibited joy and
Mhm.
let the full feathers of the peacock flare. And yeah, so that's I think what that was about. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You can probably see behind me, I've got a massive Bowie poster from like the
Yep.
Ziggy Stardust era. So this just fits in just perfectly to all of my playlists. And I'm obsessed. I truly am. I cannot say it in many other ways than I am truly obsessed.
Oh,
You
thank you.
mentioned you mentioned before, like, of course, there's Rocky Horror. You've got a bit of Brat references. Can you talk us through more of these iconic, like, name drops and pop culture references in this track? Because it is a sandwich packed full, and I love it.
Mm. Yeah, I think I guess it's something that I've done for a long time. I am definitely a bit of a cinephile. Like I watch a lot of movies and TV, so the pop culture
Mhm.
references are just like in the wallpaper of my brain. But a lot of this album came from lyrically came from a book of poetry that I've just written. I had a 6 month poetry residency, and I've made a book of poetry called Damn Good Television, which is broken into 7 chapters that are also like the seasons of episodes. And so there's a lot of content from that I drew. But, with this, it was, yeah, there was like, what's it? There's like a song, The Midnight Rambler by the Rolling Stones, which is this kind of like, rambling conversation, as if you're having a rambling conversation with a stranger. And I guess that it just evoked feelings of that, So there's a cracked actor Bowie reference in there. There's definitely Rocky Horror. There's a lot of different things amalgamated together, and it's fun to kind of, I guess, play with references like little action figures in the lyrics. I think it's hard to know exactly why I packed it full of so many of them, because it was largely like we just do improv tracks and that's what was there, but it was that kind of cabaret feeling of it, and again that little bit of someone in a kind of delusional but it's really exciting and fun state. So yeah, I think it was just fun to do.
Yeah, oh, I love it so much. And I really want to talk further about this music video. So,
Mm.
actually, kind of side tangent, but Rocky Horror Picture Show, one of my big favorites, the sequel, which is also a prequel, which is also an alternate reality to Rocky Horror, which is called Shock Factor, I'm pretty sure. Like
Okay.
there's like a movie where it's like an alternate reality for Brad and Janet, and there's this number in it called Denton USA. And if you
Mm.
watch, like, so crazy, I am obsessed with that one number. I've never finished the movie, but that one number
Oh.
and one performance clip, I watch it all the time. I love it. When I watched your music video, it kind of gives me like a bit similar vibes. Like, not really, but there's a low-key running theme because your music video is iconic. It feels like that moment in a musical where you're just watching that main character crash
Mm.
out.
Mhm.
I,
Mhm.
again, cinematic marvel. Can you tell us a bit about this music video?
Yeah, for sure. Again, it's kind of like a part of a number of music videos that we made for this campaign, which have been directed by myself and my co-director Josh Tate and friend Josh Tate, and an incredible team who brought everything to life. And obviously, we always, it's such an eccentric song that we were kind of like, if we're gonna make a music video, it needs to be really over the top and kind of like make people go like, what am I watching, kind of thing, because that's the energy. And you saying like watching the main character crash out, that's like exactly what we wanted and what we're going on, for here. It's like a little bit manic, but yeah, we kind of created this universe through kind of Breaking Into Heaven, our first video, and we almost wanted like this music video to the opening character who walks into a dressing room with their space outfit on is almost meant to be an actor. And the Breaking Into Heaven music video, we're pretending is like an action blockbuster trilogy in this alternate universe, and this is the actor who was in that movie. And then at the start of that music video, he gets shot by like an unknown assailant. Because I knew I wanted to have the late night TV show kind of vibe in this, but I didn't just want it to just be that, because it's a bit done. I wanted it to be like the dying hallucinations of an actor. These visions of grandeur of being center stage, like center of the spectacle, kind of like it's all about me. But then for there to be this kind of line running through that of you as the audience have seen that something else has happened and they're having the time of their life, but you're like, something's not quite right here. And then gradually over time, that character is also realizing, wait, I'm not the host of a TV show. I'm fighting for my life on the floor of a dressing room.
Yeah.
And obviously, that was just fun to do, but I think also draws parallels to, the allure of celebrity and success and the spectacle and the way in which we can get kind of sucked into the source of running blindly towards that and ignoring, our own well-being mental or physical, and all the things that one has to sacrifice if they're only looking at being at that kind of thing. This being hyperbolized to the point of there's the imaginary reality and then there's dying on the floor reality, so that's like the extreme of those two settings. So we wanted to kind of lean into that, but then for the ending to also have like this funny twist where the Loki Horror character, it's like, is he dead? Is he riding out into the distance on his own corpse on a stretcher? Or, I wanted the question to be open-ended, like the old title of the song was, All Right, ? That's the feeling I want people to be left with. So, yeah.
Yeah. I love it so much because it feels so layered. As you said, like, if you just watch it like in the background, you're not paying attention, it's just like, oh yeah, that's funny, haha, oh look, he's dying, oh no. But then like you can like go so deep into it, and then it's like a whole metaphor for like our modern lives when you're always like online, on social media, performing, and then like you can spiral, honestly, thinking about all the different levels that come with this. But also it's just a bit of fun as well, like to watch it. Sometimes music videos, I hate to say this, I love a good music video. I love Rage in the Morning. But sometimes they feel a bit old. Or sometimes it's like, oh, cool, I can see you put a lot of thought into this. But I'm not picking up the same thing. But like, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes, or there's like every music video gets repeated and repeated and repeated. But this feels, it's original, it's fresh. There is so much happening. Truly, anyone who's watching, like, pause the interview now, go watch the music video like 3 times on repeat, and then please come back, because that would also be great.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot. Like we really just wanted to have fun with it. We had such an amazing team. Like I couldn't even list everyone, but Jack Birtles, our DOP, made it all look so gorgeous. Miranda Davies did the costumes, like that velvet suit. Our production designers, Harvey and Harriet, who just made the set look so gorgeous. Like it's such a big team that brought it to life. But thank you for that. It's kind of these are my first times having a crack at directing as well. So it's nice to hear that it's translated.
Oh no, truly, truly amazing video. And yeah, as you mentioned, this is like the part 2 of your previous music video for your first single off of this album. Can we expect to maybe see a few more parts of this story in the Selve cinematic universe?
Definitely, at least 2, maybe 3. We'll see how we go. But we're definitely continuing it. Unlike our kind of last visual album, which we did for Red Desert Dream, our last album, which was all interconnected videos. These are kind of, I wanted to all be in the same universe, but aren't necessarily like chronological. Sometimes I like if you put a few dots in distant places, then the viewer has to connect the dots and kind of create their own story. So the goal was to kind of have them all be connected by costume and aesthetic, but to not have the exact story be clear, so that it just creates a picture in people's minds. So, but there are definitely going to be a few installments, and we've got some surprises up our sleeves, and even a familiar face rocking up in one that we can't talk about yet.
That is so exciting. I love that so much. And yeah, it's very much Rocky Horror as well. How I just mentioned, they have a movie that's a prequel and a sequel and like an equal different timeline sort of thing. It has that exact energy and I love it.
I have to check that out. I didn't even know about that, the existence of that.
Yeah, the lore goes very deep, and I am not an expert, but yeah, and there's different actors, but then there's the same actors, and then it's a whole thing. It's on YouTube though for free. So
okay, I'm gonna look that up.
Yes.
This is album 3 content, I think.
And it's going to be the same songs, but done completely differently.
A little bit different, yeah. It's going to be like the Brat album. Like it's Brat, but it's different.
Exactly. As long as you keep the cool aesthetics and you don't just go for block color, because that does my head in.
We'll keep mixing it up.
Heck yeah. And honestly, I have to speak about this because it's blowing my mind. I'm sure it's still blowing your mind. Abbey Road, come on. That's insane.
It is. It's extremely insane. It was, we felt very lucky and blessed to be there, but it was overwhelming. As I mentioned, Selve's a completely independent band, so this kind of project came out of there's the idea of waiting to kind of be discovered, and then you get to do the cool stuff, because a label or someone is paying for it. But I was kind of sitting around, I was like, why don't I just try to do it? And I just kind of came up with a project. And obviously I got grant funding through Creative Australia and Arts Queensland, which was incredibly helpful. But just wanted to have the time to create an album properly and not just like fling through these places like touring, wanted to actually stay somewhere for a long time. But yeah, kind of as I mentioned, once we knew that was happening, it was kind of a big deal. And obviously it's hallowed grounds. We were recording in the same room that Dark Side of the Moon was recorded. The Revolver by the Beatles was done, and Frank Ocean, Blonde, and all this kind of stuff that it was just really phenomenal. So it started to feel like something big wanted to happen, which is why it was important for me to go up the country, go to Jabba Jabba country, spend time with my elders and my community to kind of get the embers of what that album wanted to be and where we wanted to take it. And then obviously getting to nurse that into something bigger in France, and then take that into Abbey Road, into this place that is like at the center of rock and roll history and mythology. And anyone who's grown up loving that is able to, is cognizant of that, but also knowing that it was the first Aboriginal album to be done at Abbey Road, knowing that this is a space that is awesome, but has been so exclusive over time. There's even only a handful of Australian artists who've been there. So to get to enter that space with songs that have been taken from country in the heart of London and use the most famous studio in the world as a platform for a First Nation story is what made it feel radical, and why we put so much energy into trying to cover a lot of bases in the album, emotionally, thematically, and also sonically. And we feel really happy about what we made, and there was a lot of special, goosebump moments, getting to be there, and bring that music there. But then, yeah, obviously we getting toured around, and in the studio we had the piano that was used on Day in the Life and by the Beatles, and and then there was the Mellotron from Strawberry Fields Forever. And all this stuff, you walk in there and he's like, yeah, that's the desk Dark Side of the Moon was done on, and everyone's like, no pressure. But we were lucky that we'd had those 6 weeks in France to really rehearse, because we only had 10 days in the big studio. And we recorded 13 songs. So while we were in London, we were kind of just wake up, get on the tube, go to Abbey Road. To get from the station into Abbey Road, we had to cross the walk. And then so it's almost like that was trying to become normal, but it never was. We're just like, we're crossing this on the way to work. We're literally going to work. And there's all people lining up there every day, and, looking at, and then we're going in, we're just like, what is happening? It was never normal. There's no coming out of this, it was just a normal thing. We were going there, we're aware of the absurdity of it, especially as an independent band, to go there. Even the guys at Abbey Road were saying that most artists go in there to either record vocals or record drums, and they never have bands come in and hire it out for 2 weeks and just record an album anymore. So they were all excited that we were doing it, because it's actually not common. So many wild things. And for anyone out there, I reached out to Abbey Road on the Abbey Road text box on the website. I didn't have an email. I had no one response to that. You can't get a response from our local cafe by the text box on the website. But they kind of got back, if you get the funding, we can do it. And I was like, so take a swing. Just take the swings. That's my one piece of advice.
That's insane. Oh my gosh. To think you sit there sometimes and you create a vision board, you write out your bucket list, and it's I'd love to do these things, but they're so far out of reach. It's so crazy to conceptualize. No one's just casually walking across that crossing to get to work. And it's you can do it. Anyone can do it. And you'll have done it. You'll have literally made Australian music history. You'll have made such crazy things happen. And I'm honestly flabbergasted. It is insane. I'm so proud of y'all for being able to do that. Absolutely crazy stuff.
Thank you so much. It means a lot. It's obviously a huge milestone for us. So we are super excited about getting the album out so everyone can hear it.
Yes. And on that note, can you tell us a bit more about what we can expect from Breaking into Heaven? It's out September, so like not too far away, but also like far away enough to like build the suspense. So what can we expect when it's out?
Well, we can expect a whole journey. You know, there's a story in there that kind of starts. It's kind of all party up the front, and then kind of gets a bit more wades into emotional waters as it gets to the middle and out to the outside. The album covers a glass brick in a hand. So I want the album to feel like a brick coming through the window, but it's not like it's a glass brick. It's an incandescent, beautiful brick. It's a gift. It's not an attack. But there's it kind of like kicks off like you're in the middle of a car chase. So like I wanted it to start like that. But you know, there's some rock tunes, there's there's some EDM rock tunes, there's some very soft and tender numbers. There's a lot of surprises. That's what I would say, is that you can expect surprises. But if you want to have an idea of what's to come before the album comes out, we're going to have a very special world premiere release event on the 1st of August, where we're actually performing the entire album from start to finish with a 33-piece orchestra, the Australian Session Orchestra at Hoda as part of Bleach. So that is probably going to be the coolest way to ever hear the album, even for us. So that's one way to find out before it comes out.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was reading about that show, my mind was blown. I'm like, you're gonna have lasers, dancers, a 33-piece orchestra playing the whole album. This is crazy. Like, honestly, I don't think I've ever heard of a show that sounds this cool. With so much happening, so many like moving parts. And come on, lasers and an orchestra. I am obsessed with this. Can you tell us like a little bit more about this show? Is there anything more you can tell, or is this the intrigue to get us through the door?
This is well, no, I think we're trying to put all the cards on the table. It's that obviously the project thus far has already been very extra, you know, going to Abbey Road and all that kind of stuff. So we knew we needed to launch it into the world with something just as wild and over the top, you know, because it's in line with the entire vibe of Breaking into Heaven. So yeah, it's going to be, we're working with the Australian Session Orchestra to perform the full album composed with a huge 33-piece orchestra. We've created an immersive visual show that includes elements of all of the music videos and other content that we shot with choral dancers, who are local First Nations dance company from here on the Gold Coast, who are just amazing, and they've done some gorgeous performances. And we've got a light show and lasers and a whole spectacle. We've just tried to do the biggest, wildest thing that we can. And yeah, it's gonna be really, really special. There's so much string arrangements and stuff on the album as it is. So if you like, you know, seeing a rock band with a full orchestra, then this is the show for you. And yeah, it's all in the title.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean it when I say this sounds like one of the coolest shows ever. And I can't wait. I'm so excited. Whenever I see something in the Gold Coast, I'm always just like, it's like an hour away from me because I'm like close to like Brisbane CBD. So I'm like, it's so far, I can't make it. And I'm like, I don't care if I had to fly like 4 hours in an airplane to get here because this sounds epic.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely worth the little car drive down from Brisbane. It's not too far. You know, you could listen to a Selve album in that drive. You know.
Absolutely. Honestly, what's stopping you? And speaking of listening to albums by epic Aussie bands, I would love to close off our chat today by taking a little sneak peek into your playlist and hearing which local acts and like broader Australian artists have you been listening to lately and absolutely loving, and you want to give a shout out to because you think we're going to love as well.
Yeah, well, I think if I'm going to shout out some bands, I want to shout out some local mob who are doing incredible work. You've got the boys from Jukka who are up in Brisbane, who are incredible hip hop, electronic, didge mixed together, and they're just absolutely popping off at the moment. So I want to shout out to those boys. Also shout out to Badass Mother in Brisbane as well, who's just dropped her EP Silly Goose. That's one of my favorite EPs that I've heard in a long time. Who else? There's Keely, who's a really amazing neo soul singer, super beautiful, smooth vibes there. And yeah, I think those will be the ones I want to call out to at the moment. That everyone go run that up, go check that out. There's so many amazing First Nations artists in Brisbane and the Gold Coast doing amazing things. So support the local mob.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, like, I feel like in the Australian music industry, there's so many layers. Like, there's obviously like your straight cis white man at the top of the industry for some reason. We don't know why. We can't control that. They're just there for some reason. And then, like, you trickle down, and then you end up seeing the coolest acts just hiding in the woodwork that are not platformed enough by this industry. So, do your research, check out your cool, like, female acts, gender diverse acts, your First Nation acts, because I'm sorry, we can do better than a cis straight white man playing a ukulele. Like,
100%. That's the quote of the year.
yeah, honestly, I stand by it forever and always. No offense, Vance Joy, but we moved on a little.
Yeah, I was like, Vance Joy right there. Yeah.
Oh, I am so thankful we got to have this chat, because this song is amazing. Loki Horror Picture Show, insane. Your visuals are insane. Abbey Road, insane. This upcoming show at Bleach, insane. Literally all I can say is insane. I am obsessed. You're doing amazing things. Thank you so much for creating this art for us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for all your kind words, Charlie, and for taking the time to chat with me. It means a lot. So thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.